Hi guys, this is Lucky with Lucky Sevens Tarot, and as promised, today I will be unboxing the Muse Tarot. And I've actually been waiting for this. I had pre-ordered it before it even became available on sale. And so I just got it the other day, and I wanted to share it with you. This is from the same person, Chris Ann, who created the Light Seers Tarot, which we all love. I think that's the deck that I get the most compliments on. So I'm excited to see what they've come up with this tarot deck. Okay, guys, so let's see. I did pay, it's available on Amazon. Retail price US is $26.99. Canada is $25.99. I think I paid on Amazon like $25 and change for this deck. So it's relatively inexpensive in comparison to other decks that I own. I'm trying to open the, I should have got something sharp. Here's what the back of the box says. It says, expect magic, exploration, and inspiration. Infused with wildly eclectic spirit, the Muse Tarot will illuminate your path towards inspiration and magic with its bright symbolism and powerful muse energy. The suits are recasted as emotions, which are cups, inspiration, which is wands, voices, which is swords, and materials, which is pentacles, to deliver messages from the source of creation. The detailed guidebook contains card meanings, poetry, and word prompts to offer insight into your readings while stroking the spark of your creativity. Ignite the muse within. The package was designed by Nick Welsh, who I believe designed this package as well. I'm not sure, it doesn't say here. No, it doesn't say here. And the cover art and design was the cover art and design was by Chris Ann and Valentina. I don't want to say her name incorrectly. I think it's Abusaba. Sorry if that's not the correct way to say her name. I apologize. But you know, guys, and it was, it's by Hay House, which is the producer of, I believe, yeah, Hay House as well, the producer of the Light Seers Tarot. Okay, guys, let's get into this. So this is the book that comes with the tarot deck, and this is my second time trying to do this video, so the book is already opened, but it is the Muse Tarot, and the back, the picture of Chris Ann. First of all, she's beautiful. And it says, Chris Ann is the deck creator, artist, brand strategist, and magic maker. She is successfully kickstarted 3 unique card decks, the Sacred Creators Oracle, the Light Seers Tarot, and the Muse Tarot. Visit her online at chrisann.com or themusetarot.com. Okay. I do not have the Sacred Creators Oracle, but now I'm interested in getting it because I do have the Light Seers Tarot, and now with the Muse Tarot. The Light Seers Tarot is absolutely hands down one of my favorite decks that I own. And it's the deck that I get the most questions about. And the Muse Tarot, we're about to see what's going on here, guys. Okay. Now, the box is absolutely beautiful. As you can tell, like the inside, they really put a lot of time into this. It's sturdy, and it feels just like the Light Seers Tarot box, okay? Which you guys can see here, the Light Seers Tarot box. It's pretty much the same or very similar. She has like an inscription in the inside where she actually signed the inside of this box. The box is pretty thick, very beautiful colors, etc. So I think that that's what she's really known for. Let's get into this. So now these cards are very different than the cards that we're used to, okay? Obviously, because the names of the cards are different. Like I said, emotions is cups, inspiration is wands, voices is swords, and materials are pentacles, okay? So, and I've already went through this because I said this is my second time trying to record this video. So they're in a different order than they were before. It's up to down rather than down to up, with the major arcana coming first instead of the, or the minor arcana coming first instead of the major arcana, which is how the deck is normally. So now with this, you have, this is replacing the King of Pentacles, all right? You have the Muse of Pentacles. There are no men in this deck whatsoever. These are all women, which is beautiful. I love that inspiration. But here's considered the King of Pentacles, okay? And these are, the thing that strikes me about this is all the kings in this deck the cards are sideways, all right? They're not straight up and down. The cards are made sideways. So I would love to read the book to kind of figure out the inspiration behind that and what that actually means, because with every tarot deck, the meaning of the card, it has an original meaning. We all know King of Pentacles is, financially stable, more masculine type of energy, could be Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo energy, but the actual meaning for every deck usually is very different, especially when it's a deck that has an inspiration of something. So you not only need to read the card as if it is the original depiction, but also taking into account what the author's depiction of the card is, or the description of the card within that deck. All right, when you're reading. And the Queen of Materials, which really is beautiful because this kind of reminds me of Frida Kahlo, the Mexican artist, especially because this is a Muse deck, which does have a lot of artistic depictions. So it kind of looks to me like the Queen of Materials, she was trying to come up with a design that represented or looked very similar to Frida Kahlo. And that's awesome to me. I really love that. And then you have the Knight of Materials. Okay, and this is just beautiful colors, guys. I absolutely love the colors in this. They stand out, they pop. Very, very beautiful. The Page of Materials. So she's using flowers as far as materials are concerned, as far as in place of pentacles, all right? The 10 of Materials, okay? And this is such a beautiful description. I feel like it's spot on as far as what the 10 of Pentacles represents. The 9 of Materials, I think that that's pretty spot on as well. But I love the fact that someone is actually giving her this money. And usually the 9s mean like a loan. But this is like, it could be a person. It could just be the universe kind of giving her her pentacles. All right. And then you have the 8 of Materials here. The 8 of Materials is like, it represents hard work, the 8 of Pentacles. And look at that. She's got like 6 or 7. Actually, she's got 8 arms all working, which is kind of a symbolism of that, women can do anything that they set their mind to. I love that. And we have multiple jobs. We are wearers of many hats. I love this depiction. Okay. So then you have the 7 of Materials. And the 7 of Materials looks like she's kind of planting flowers or waiting for them to grow. The 7 of Pentacles usually does mean putting in that effort and energy for something to grow, okay? And then you have the 6 of Materials, which with this 6 of Materials, usually the 6 of Pentacles is an energy where you're giving something to someone. But in this depiction, it looks like she's giving it to herself, which is awesome. It reminds me or remnants of an independent woman. And then you have the Five of Materials, which I really, really love this depiction. It's very dark, which is very symbolism of the Five of Pentacles. She's out in the cold, you know. However, there's a hand here, and the hand is kind of like protection, or reminds me of some sort of protection, which is saying that she can gain some sort of help. She's not alone in being outside in the cold, and she can attain some sort of help to bring her inside from outside. Okay. The Four of Materials. These are just beautiful cards, guys. The cardstock is not as thick as the Light Seers Tarot. The Light Seers Tarot is, I mean, this is a used deck, and I still have a hard time shuffling a little bit because it's such a thick deck. This deck is not as thick, which tells me I actually like the thicker decks, especially because over time as you shuffle, the cards will, you know, they'll bend, they'll get thinner. So the thicker that the deck is, the longer that it's going to last you, instead of having to buy a new one to replace it if you really love that deck. And I have a habit of having to replace my decks because I shuffle so much. I do so many readings. But, you know, I would have wished that it was as thick as the Light Seers, but it's not thin either. It's not a thin deck. So keep that in mind. You know, I've seen, she's done a thicker deck before. And maybe that was something that people complained about, having a difficult time shuffling. So she went with those kind of thinner material. However, I do feel like this is not a bad material at all. It's actually really good in comparison to many, many other decks. So this is the card for the Three of Materials. I love the flowers. I just love it. What it bothers me a little bit in reference to this is, you know, with the Light Seers deck, and I don't want to compare the two, but they're, you know, her decks. So you see the depiction on the box of the High Priestess card, and that's what that is, the High Priestess in this deck. Now, this is like, you know, animation. Somebody animated this deck, which was beautiful animation. And in this deck, she actually, these are photographs of people, it looks like, that she's actually taken pictures of and incorporated them into the art here. So it's a lot of different photography mixed with like watercolor paint, you know, and then these original life-like flowers. So it's a lot different. If you're expecting Light Seers, this isn't it. The colors are very similar, but this is not indicative of the Light Seers Tarot. You do have the Two of Materials, which I think that this is a good description here. You know, she's not looking in one direction. She's kind of looking up and juggling the two. The Ace of Materials. Ooh, that's beautiful. All the beautiful flowers she's surrounded by, you know, on her head and her headdress. Then we're getting into the voices. So the Muse of Voices. Okay, and I would really love to figure out why all the kings are cards that are sideways. I'm going to have to read up on that. But then we have the Queen of Voices. And let me see what the voices represent again. Voices is representative of wands. Okay, so as far as wands are concerned, which she doesn't have wands in here. If you look at this, these are birds, which is kind of different to me because there's not birds in every voices picture. Let me make sure I'm right. No, I'm sorry. Voices is actually swords. Okay, so swords in the Light Seers are the birds as well. So I guess that kind of makes sense, but I don't see birds in every picture to depict whether or not it's the voices which would be the swords, or not. So that's a little bit kind of off to me, off-putting. But this is a beautiful picture, okay? And she is alone, which the Queen of Swords is someone that is alone, that's protecting herself, and very protected in the sense that she's protecting herself possibly with these swords that are surrounding her, these birds that are surrounding her. But that, it almost like, it doesn't really make sense in the sense of the original depiction of what the card means, okay? Now, the Knight of Voices, I love that she used the horses for the knights, but I'm not necessarily impressed, so to speak, with the Voices cards. And then the Page of Voices, if you look, like, this doesn't resonate for me. I mean, it may resonate for you guys, but it doesn't really resonate for me 100%, in the sense that, you know, Voices is swords, you know, which is mental thought, you know, thinking, clarity, and in your head, you know, that sort of thing. Now, I guess it could be where she's in her head. You know, if you look at the depiction, she's got a bunch of dancing women, and they're not even the same woman. They're different women dancing around. And it's a picture of like over the mountains and the sun is shining in the background. Or, yeah, I don't get it. I don't. Let me know how you guys feel. Now, the Ten of Voices, I think that's a beautiful depiction of the Ten of Swords, okay? I love it. I really do. The Nine of Voices, okay? Now, I love the picture. I think that the woman here is beautiful. And the nine, this would be the Nine of Swords, which would be like really in your head, stressed, overthinking. And I think that they just missed the mark on the picture, depiction of it. You know, first of all, these are two different women. One, you know, she's naked, she looks like a baby, and then you have this beautiful African, and she might even be Indian or African, depiction of the woman. So I don't get that. With the Eight of Voices, that's the Eight of Swords. And I think it's a beautiful depiction of feeling stuck, feeling trapped. I see where they were going with this depiction for sure. The Seven of Voices. Seven of Swords is like someone trying to get away with something, you know, being sneaky. I see the fox. The fox there is like that sneaky type of energy. So I definitely like that. It's like someone, oh, if you look at that, this is like someone being two-faced or having two sides to them, you know, so that could definitely work. I like that idea, or that depiction. The Six of Voices. Okay, so the Six of Swords. Tell me what you guys think. I would love to know in the comment section down below how you're feeling about this deck. The Five of Voices. So the Five of Swords. I'm not fully understanding the Five of Swords energy here, because the Five of Swords or Five of Voices that they have, there's like a bunch of, there's four people, right? If you look, there's four people sitting, you know, they look like they're meditating. There's one that's kind of not doing that, you know, and then there's two of the same person here. It's maybe, you know, Five of Swords energy could be competition, could be conflict. This could be really, you know, overthinking. So I'm trying to figure out, look at that and tell me what you guys think about the Five of Voices. Four of Voices, so Four of Swords, which I think is a beautiful, beautiful picture. This is an Asian woman, it looks like. I don't know. I think the Pentacles so far is my favorite depictions. They're very, you can see where she was going. It's very spot on. And these, the more I get into it, the less I'm thrilled with the deck. You have the Three of Voices, which is the Three of Swords energy. And I think this is a beautiful card for that. If you look in the background in the clouds or in the starry night, there's, eyes that are crying. And the light is kind of coming out of her. She's naked in the middle of a desert, feeling alone, with a door up, which tells me that she can get out of that space if she chooses to. So then you have the Two of Voices, which would be the Two of Swords. Indecision. I like this depiction, of feeling like you're at a crossroads, being torn. Look at that. They captured like the hair caught together, which is amazing. But then if you look at the bottom right here, there's the person kind of going down this path, going through the door. So there's a way out of this indecision, which I like that depiction. I think that's beautiful. So the Ace of Voices. There's an owl here. I love her hair. It's really beautiful. I think this was the picture in a lot of their marketing material with the Ace of Voices. I think that's awesome. Now, the Muse of Emotion. Okay, this is the King. And the emotion, I want to say, is the Cups. And it is. Okay, so the Muse of Emotion. Now, the cup, it's literally two women. It's the same picture. Two women standing back to back with one another, drinking from the cup, which is not indicative of the King of Cups here. So I'm wondering, I would have to kind of look at the depiction more to see what the meaning of it is and read the book, which I actually might do just to see what they were thinking when they were making the king. I'm going to read one of the kings, which is, I'm going to try to get to this one, just to see what they were meaning with the different kings in the deck, because all of them are like this. All of them are sideways cards this way. None of them are named king. So this is the Muse of Emotions. Keywords: compassion, joy, the freedom to feel all the emotions as the way to self-discovery, transcendent states of bliss, meditation, inner calm and knowing, being totally in touch with your desires and with balanced and peaceful emotions, avoiding moodiness. The prompt: rinsing the shadow. So this is kind of getting out of the shadow period is what they're coming up with. And it says, I think this is a poem. Wow. Yeah. Guys, this is a poem. It doesn't even have like an explanation as to why they have this here. I am not liking this at all, because look at that. I want to show you. So they give you prompts as to what the card means, right? So it gives you like keywords: compassion, joy, freedom, to feel all the emotions as to a way of self-discovery. And then it gives you a prompt of rinsing the shadow. And then it gives you like a poem. And to me, if you're a new beginner in tarot and you're trying to use this deck as a way of learning, this is not it. All right. This is not a deck for you to learn, because this would be confusing to me if I didn't know anything about tarot. And I'll read the poem to see if it has anything that would be, be helpful. But it says, come, tiny vessel of love, to the place where the water drops off and pours everything into the sweet shell of life. This message of highest love resides where all the bits and pieces of your anger and sadness are brewed and alchemized into beautiful experiences for the soul, for they too are experiences to be cherished and learned from. Come and meditatively, quietly, calmly, with everything you are. Leave nothing behind, for you will need it all in this place of mindful understanding. Steer clear of manipulation and moodiness and come into the night of the sweet wave of kindness, for those are the waves that will push you past the riptide. They will float you to the sandbanks of connection and invite you to explore your inner world with a suit of gentle compassion. Your task is to simply be true to your heart and accepting of the nature that is, and the healing waters of pure love are headed your way. And then it has a small thing. It says, attend awareness of perception, reaction, emotion, empathic and true, sensitive wisdom, who crosses the sea. The subtle magic of now lies within you. Guys, it has no absolute reason whatsoever as to why the card is sideways, as to whether or not the card, if you were doing, you know, your cards, taking flippers, you know, I'm having a hard time speaking today, taking cards that turn. First of all, what way is it turning? There is no up or down. The up and down is this way. So how is it supposed to be read? You know, is this, in this deck, are they saying that there is, the only way to read it is that it's, you know, cleansing your shadow side? Because that's not the original depiction of this card at all. So it's very, very difficult for anyone new coming in to read the king of any of these cards. So I would say this is honestly like a deck for specific, first of all, only for women, or I would say I would only use this deck if I was using it for women, probably only for artists. This is not a deck that I would use for everyday use. It just isn't. Based on what I'm seeing here so far, I hate to say this, guys, but I'm not impressed. All right, look, Queen of Emotions. Now, this card is absolutely insane. This is such a beautiful card. I love it. And then at the top, you can see like there's another woman who's just like walking in the water. Knight of Emotions, which I think is beautiful as well. All her cards are beautiful and the coloring is amazing. I'm just not satisfied with the depictions and the actual meanings of the cards. You know, I feel like she made a deck that is similar to, you know, the original tarot, but it can be interpreted so many different ways. And some of these have nothing to do with the interpretation at all. And this is the Page of Emotions, which I really love. I think it's beautiful. But again, the Page of Emotions is indicative of the Page of Cups, right? I don't see anything here. I mean, I do see that in the opening there's Earth, you know, and in her heart, you know, her heart is shining, which does tell me that there's a mutual sort of love or a love there. But pages are communicators, okay? So maybe speaking from your heart would be what she's talking about here. But there's so much going on. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Page of Emotions, or I'm sorry, the 10 of Emotions. There's 10 people down there. 10 of Cups. This talks of, you know, coming together. That family card. I just think she could have did a lot better with this. The 9 of Emotions. 9 of Cups. That wish fulfillment. That freedom. Getting what you want. And she's holding the fish in her hand, standing above the world, you know, like in meditation above the world. The 8 of Emotions, so the 8 of Cups. And this card, honestly, like, I'm so confused with the depiction. Where is anything that represents 8 in this depiction? I don't see anything. It's, you know, yeah, I'm definitely confused here. All right. The 7 of Emotion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 cups, or fish there is considered, I guess, to be the cups in this picture. And she's sort of looking at them. They're all different. So I see the depiction there. The 6 of Emotion. So 6 of Cups, looking back at the past, having nostalgia. I love this depiction. I think this is beautiful. Now the 5 of Emotion. She's sad, she's crying, there's a lot of water there. I definitely think that she could have did better. I don't see any 5 of anything. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like possibly 5 if you kind of look here. Maybe those are 5 ships in the background. I don't know what they are. It could be 5 ships. The 4 of Emotion. And here she is actually using cups. So it's kind of all over the place, guys. Sadly, I'm confused with the, you know, kind of being everywhere. I love the art. I love the depiction. Now, these are 2 faces. If you see that, that's creating the cups. Okay. I do see where she's not seeing the bigger picture, which is indicative of the 4 of Cups, because the bigger picture is, you know, what she's sitting in, this big cup here, and she's focused on these 3. So I see that depiction there. The 3 of Emotion. So 3 of Cups. And here she's got like, there's the, is that the world? No, she's holding moons. Okay, so here, there's a full moon here and then the crescent moons. Okay, and then they're in the water. These are 3 of the same people in 3 different pictures. You know, just very different. This definitely wouldn't be an everyday deck. I think, guys, this is going to be one of those decks that I use very rarely. You have the 2 of Emotion. So 2 of Cups, which I love the depiction of the 2 of Cups, of them kind of coming together in the water with all the fish around them. The Ace of Emotion. Ooh, that's beautiful. It's very beautiful. I love the colors, man. Her colors and her cards are insane. Muse of Inspiration. Okay, Muse of Inspiration. And inspiration is the wands. I believe it's the wands energy. Yes. So this would be the King of Wands. The Queen of Inspiration. I do feel like this is not as inclusive of a deck as I would have liked, even though, you know, she's not including any men here. I would have liked a broader stream of women. You know, I would have liked to see, if she's only using women and animals, I would have liked to have seen, you know, more African women, more Asian women, more Indian women, more Hispanic women. Like, I just feel like there's a lot of different colored haired Caucasian women and maybe 1 or 2 African women. And then we've seen the one that looked like Frida Kahlo in the very beginning with the queen of materials, but I have not seen like a lot of different, you know, they all seem to be, there's like token minority women in this deck, and I don't like that. I wish it was more broader, you know, to where there was other depictions of other types or colors of women, even shapes and sizes of women, because all of these women seem to be thin. I don't see any like larger women or anything like that, you know. And this is the page of inspiration, which I think is so beautiful. Then you have the 10 of inspiration, or 10 of wands. So that's her carrying that heavy weight on her shoulders and walking uphill. And then there are, it looks like bulls, okay, kind of going uphill with her. That just reminded me or made me think of bullshit, carrying bullshit uphill. You have the 9 of inspiration, or the 9 of wands energy here. And this is, I'm trying to think of how this resonates with the 9 of wands. Guys, let me know. I'm so confused by this deck. The 8 of inspiration. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Listen, there's not an 8 of anything here. And none of her 8s, like I don't see any 8 of anything. You know, there's nothing that represents that it's an 8 of anything except for the description at the top of the deck, which to me is like, I don't know, it just doesn't resonate. Then you have the 7 of inspiration, you know, the 7 of wands, which feeling like you're getting beaten up but being protected. I see that energy there. Absolutely. I think that's beautiful description. The 6 of inspiration. Okay, so we do have the 6s there with the 6 people, or are those people? It looks like, you know, the same woman just depicted 6 different times. Then we have the 5 of inspiration. So the 5 of wands, where things aren't coming together, kind of working against yourself or working. So in this depiction, this is like the same woman over and over again, where it's like different windows to a different realm, or I don't know. It kind of, it doesn't look like things are coming together, but it's almost like, you know, not necessarily fighting within yourself. It kind of looks like was what she's depicting here. The 4 of inspiration, or 4 of wands, the women coming together. I love this. Everybody meditating with one another. I think that's beautiful. We should do more of that in our lifetime. The 3 of inspiration. Okay. Now I'm trying to see where I see 3. So there's 3. It looks like a frame. She's framed 3 times, but then there's dominoes in there. 3 of wands, you know, usually talks about getting something that you want coming towards you. And this, I don't know. I don't see it. Somebody tell me what am I missing? Okay, what am I missing here? So then the 2 of inspiration, or 2 of wands, you have these 2, I guess, circle with, maybe she's creating, or she's you know, there's a, what is that? A telescope of some kind that she's kind of looking at, but she's not even looking out the, you know, looking at the orange part of the card, the hole that has been created. She's looking towards the white part. So where the lines are. So I'm very confused about what this means. And like I said, if I was new to tarot, this would be so difficult for me to learn or understand. I would not have, yeah, it's a really pretty deck. I have a lot of really pretty decks, guys, but really pretty decks, you know, when they start to change the actual meaning of the things that you're seeing there, and they do too many changes, I just feel like it takes away from the card. So to me, I'm just not thrilled with this. In comparison to the Light Seers, this is missing the mark for me. The Ace of Inspiration. Now I love this. This is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You have the World Cosmos. Now we're getting into what she is considering the major arcana here. So the World Cosmos, this would be the world. Okay. In the clarifying, or in the original deck, that would be the world. Now, this is a card that I'm unfamiliar with. So I want to look it up because this card is not in any other deck that I'm aware of. You know, and it's the Awakening. Normally, I would have thought that this was the Death card, because usually death and rebirth are in there somewhere, but she has this card. She still has the Death card in here. So the Awakening, and actually the keywords are to awaken your divine nature. Oh, this is Judgment. That makes sense, right? Judgment, facing the music, ascension, accepting and forgiving your beautiful soul. To call it the Awakening. That's actually a pretty dope description. I like that. All right. And then I love the way that she's kind of taking whatever judgment or whatever the consequences are. She's kind of standing up to them in this picture. I love that. That's dope. You have the Sun card. And the Sun, look at her head here. I want to show you guys. That is awesome to me, because what that is telling me in this depiction is that your thoughts have the ability to change your state of being. You know, to be happy is a mental, it comes from within, not anything external to you. And I try to tell you guys that all the time. So that's a beautiful description to me. And then you have the Moon. The Moon, look at that. So I want to show you this, right? If you look at this, there's a black path and there's a light path, right? So it's telling you like there's secrets, there's something hidden. You can go down either path, okay? And I think the pink moon, which we actually just had one, the full moon, the pink full moon in Libra, the other day. What was it, April 7th? I think that's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And it was like, what, the biggest moon of the year, I believe. And we have the Star card. The Star card in this depiction, yeah, it doesn't resonate with me. It doesn't look like the Star card. I don't necessarily see a star when I look at it. It does look like she's holding some stars in her hand, but you can't even see them, okay? The Tower. Now, I love this. I love the way the Tower is depicted here. It's like falling from the sky, but she's standing on top of it and safe. However, there is someone that looks like they're free falling right there, you know? But I think that this, you know, but it does look like, you know, everything is falling on top of her, okay? Now, the Devil energy, this represents Capricorn. You guys know this is Capricorn's my sun sign. I'm not 100% about this. It does indicate, I'm trying to see, like her hands look like they're tied and bound with some sort of lace of some kind. And I see the fire. There's like, she's got wings in the background. I just don't see that this is like devil type of energy. No. The Temperance, that Sagittarius energy, guys. This talks about, you know, finding that balance, having a need for patience. And I see where the balance kind of comes in this depiction, because if you look at that, she's holding a bunch of moons and all the moons are changing. You know, this represents a need for patience because things are changing in your life. This could also represent patient, you know, the patience that's needed. You have the lotus flower at the bottom. Okay, and the lotus is that flower that grows in the mud, that beautiful flower that grows in the mud. So, then you have the death card. And I love this depiction because if you look at it, this is, you know, this beautiful girl, and then it's kind of like something is over her or crusts over her. So this is kind of going from one, you know, from having life to, or not having life to having life. You know, death usually means something is ending and something new is beginning. So I think that she did a good job of depicting that here, but also having to go through, like, this looks like a lot, like just a lot of different energies. So it's like having to go through so much in order to change, you know, in order for this to change. So I think that was awesome. Then you have the hanged muse. So it's not the hanged man, it's the hanged muse here, which I think is awesome. I like this depiction. She's got on wedges, guys. Like that's pretty dope. So really in her head, thinking, overthinking, alone by herself. Justice. Okay. So with justice, it looks like, you know, things are balanced. She's opening up, you know, gaining some sort of clarity. Justice also does mean clarity happening, or, and then the hands here is like someone is, you know, it's the same on both sides, I feel like. So there's reason for judgment, maybe. Now, this does also look like walking up some stairs. So this could be where look at the bottom of the card, guys. Look at this. I hope you guys can see it. I hope it autofocuses. Because this is like one area she's walking up to the fire. And one area, or it's not fire, maybe it is. It's like clouds in the sky. And then in one area, there's a staircase to like night. Okay. So with justice, it's reminding me of that yin and yang energy. The wheel. I'm not necessarily thrilled about this wheel. I just am not. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. The Hermit. She's alone in the desert, it looks like. And usually the Hermit is in a dark place. And this one depicts her in a light place. Okay. There is a tree casting a shadow there. So, I mean, tell me what you think. The Strength card looks like she's in Egypt somewhere where there's pyramids. With the lion, it's a good depiction. The Chariot. Look at that, guys. I like this Chariot because it's like the woman is the focus here and she's guiding the horses. You know, she's holding on to the horses or has some sort of, almost, I want to say like a chain around them, you know, to push them forward, to kind of have them move on or move forward. That's awesome, I think. Now, like, it reminds me like she's in control, and that's really what the Chariot is about taking back your control, being able to move forward. Now, what is this? The Lovers. The Lovers. So the Lovers, we do see two. There's is that a man? No, it's a woman, two women that the things are on their heads. If you look there, those things on their head. And then there are two, actually three flowers, but the two main flowers is the, I don't know if that's a rose or if it's kind of like two different lotus flowers sort of coming together. Maybe something keeping them apart, you know, keeping the two people apart. But it's like the hands are together. There's depictions of hands here, two hands together, 2 feet. But the feet are together and then they're apart, which I see the abstract in it, but yeah, I'm still not thrilled with the depiction. The Hierophant. The Hierophant you know, this is the commitment card. This is Taurus energy. I don't see it. As she has bulls in another card, I feel like, you know, if she's, I don't know. I don't want to tell somebody how to do their job. I don't like doing that. But I think that this card as a Hierophant just doesn't necessarily resonate with me. I do love this card, the Emperor. The fact that the Emperor is depicted as a woman, I think is amazing. And then, you know, her hands are up and it's kind of like all these little people at the bottom and she's the one in control, you know, and that's very indicative of the Emperor. Now, the Empress, I love, you know, that, first of all, she's beautiful. I love the color of her hair. And then you have like all of the planets that are there and it's kind of like coming out of her heart, which is telling me like, you know, the Empress has the ability to start new, she's the card of fertility. So she's the card of bringing new life into the world. And I love this. I think that's beautiful. Now this is my favorite card in this deck because I feel like it's the most indicative of what the High Priestess actually means. You know, it is not being able to see completely. Half of her face is covered. She's using her hands and her energy, the energy that she's feeling. Look at that. The moon, the crescent moon is touching her and she's feeling the energy of it, which is telling you to use your intuition as she is in this depiction. And it's so very outspoken. It's prominent in the card, like the Light Seers prominency is in most of those cards. And I love that. I wish more of the cards were like this. And then you have the Magician, which I do see the depiction of the Magician here, but I'm not thrilled with it. You know, I'm not thrilled with this depiction of what the Magician, you know, is. The Magician has the power to manifest the outcome that they want. However, and the power comes from within, you know, but in this depiction, I just feel like it could have been better. I don't know. And then the Fool, which is the very first card, the Fool. And you can see she's getting ready to walk off of a cliff. She hasn't gotten there yet. She's still got a few more steps to take. And I do like the fact that they put the ladder in there. So it's kind of like she's climbed up a ladder. She's finished something to start something new. I love that part of it. Okay. But I'm not thrilled with I don't know, like the art in this picture. It doesn't necessarily stand out to me. And I don't want to compare it, like I said, to the Light Seer Tarot, but I'm not actually, you know, thrilled with this deck, guys. I want you to let me know in the description or in the comment section below how you feel about the deck. Is it something that you would want me to use? Would you purchase it? And all of that. Let me know how you guys are feeling. If you have the deck, how do you feel about it? Does it resonate with you? I know you guys know that you have to build a relationship with your decks in order to be able to use them. And I don't see myself building a strong bond with this deck here. I just don't, unfortunately. But we'll see. You know, stranger things have happened. It is a beautiful deck. I don't take anything away from it. You know, you're not going to like every single card in every deck. I think that they did a great job. I love the packaging. I love the cardstock and the colors. But as far as like traditional depictions, I feel like they missed the mark on several cards here. And then some of them, they got them right on point, you know. But for me, this is not a deck for a beginner at all. And they could have done more with the book to explain the differences that they created in this deck, rather than allowing you or having you to assume as to why there are the differences that are there in this deck. Okay, so definitely not a beginner, not beginner friendly. And not something that I would use every day, and only for specific clients, only for, you know, people looking. I think this is even a deck that I would only use for people who need to release their shadow side or get in touch with their shadow side to do their shadow work. This is more of a shadow work deck than a future prediction deck or anything like that. So, and keep in mind that there are decks that are like that. You cannot use every single deck for every single thing. You know, there are certain decks that are specific for finances or are specific for love. And this deck, I feel like, is specific for your shadow side, to see what shadow work you have to do and how to get through that sort of thing. But I do not see this as an everyday use deck for career and money or for, you know, love, that sort of thing. I would never use this deck for that. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you love it, let me know. If you don't, let me know. I would love to hear your honest opinions. Keep in mind that this is not a paid promotion video. This is just something that I love to review new decks for you guys so that you don't have to spend the money on something that you may not like. Okay, so make sure that you watch the video before you purchase it to decide whether or not you like it, and don't use my opinion for anything. You can see clearly what whether or not you like the deck or not, regardless of how I feel about it. You know, I'm not the end all be all for you guys. You know, everybody has their own tastes and their own opinions. Okay. All right, guys, I love you. I hope you're loving on yourself. Thank you so much for watching. Peace, love, and blessings to you always. Bye-bye.